hope this day finds you well. And whenever you hear this today, I hope you enjoy the story. It's about rebuilding the temple. When the king of Persia gave Israelites living in Persia his okay to go back home and rebuild the temple, they didn't waste any time. They hiked to Jerusalem just as fast as they could, and they got busy. Soon they had a new foundation built on the old temple foundation. True, the new temple wouldn't be as beautiful as what Solomon had built and the Babylonians had torn down, but it was a temple, and in it they could worship God. More than anything, God's people wanted to make a space where God could live, where God could be praised, where God was honored and obeyed. And more than anything, God wanted to rebuild his people, to have a friendship with them, to see them be faithful and obedient, to know they loved him with all their hearts. That's from Ezra 1, 3, and 6. So meanwhile in your world, draw a self-portrait. Use a pencil, crayon, or pen, and draw it on paper or in your journal. It'll all make sense in a couple of minutes when you go on reading. For now, go all Michelangelo and sketch a masterpiece. God doesn't need to live in a temple anymore. He lives in people. When you know Jesus, he lives in you. When you were drawing yourself, you were drawing a temple. Cool, huh? Touch your drawing carefully if the ink is wet. And thank God for living in you, for his Holy Spirit turning you into a temple, for restoring you. God's people did some building, and you and your family or friends will too, except you use a deck of cards to build as tall a tower as you can in 4 minutes and 14 seconds. Fire up a stopwatch function on someone's phone and get cracking. Oh, 2 things. You can't cut, tear, tape, lick, stick, or fold the cards. And if you experience a tower tumble, it's okay to start over. Ready, set, build. The temple of God was then dedicated with great joy by the people of Israel, the priests, the Levites, and the rest of the people who had returned from exile. That's Ezra 6:16. Friends and family help each other become friends with God. So here's a little something from the Bible. It's called Dedicated to God. To dedicate here means to promise to use the temple to worship God and serve him there. Read about the dedication service in Ezra 6:13 through 18. Here are some ways you can learn more about dedicating things to God. Number 1, if people dedicate babies at your church, listen carefully. What do the mom and dad promise? What does your congregation promise? What does the minister say in his prayer? Number 2, listen carefully to the prayer of dedication when the church offering is received in a worship service. And number 3, think about things you have. Is there anything you would like to dedicate to God? For instance, you might dedicate your school books to God. Pray and tell God that you will study hard so you can be ready to serve him when you grow up. So think about that this week, about dedication and what that really means, and maybe read the scriptures that I asked you to read. Dedication is a different word, and we need to dedicate ourselves to the scriptures and to knowing Jesus and building a better relationship with him. So you guys have a great week at school. I hope everything goes really well for you, and I'll see you soon. Have a great week.